one more song for you. This is the first song I ever wrote. I wrote this because I really wanted to hitchhike through Mexico for spring break, like all parents hope their children do one day. I was going to school in Michigan at the time. I got a scholarship to go over to prestigious fine arts high school. I didn't really have enough money I didn't know you couldn't stay on campus for spring break. You had to leave, and I didn't have enough money to get to Alaska, so I came up with this genius idea that I would hobo by train across the country to San Diego and then hitchhike through Mexico, because I was clearly a genius. My dad always played guitar in our act, and I just sort of backed him up and sang. So I had to learn to street sing. I learned 4 chords: A minor, C, G, and D in that order. I couldn't go out of order because I didn't know how. And I couldn't learn other people's songs, and so I thought I'd just make up lyrics about people as they walked by. Because nobody really pays very close attention to what a street singer's actually saying. My dad taught me to improvise. We had those 4- and 5-hour sets in these bars where nobody was paying attention, and to keep me entertained, he often would sing songs about the people that weren't listening to us. It was pretty funny. So that's sort of what I did. It was really my first time seeing America. I mean, obviously I was raised in Alaska as part of the States, but it's just so removed from pop culture, especially the way I was raised. So my first stop was in Chicago, and it was my first time seeing the city, and skyscrapers, and all this. And I started making up lyrics about what I was seeing around me, and I would take all my change to the ticket counter, and I sort of worked my way across the country that way. And I did hitchhike from Tijuana down to Cabo. Then I took a ferry over to the mainland side of Mexico, and then went all through there, and then back to Cabo and back to Tijuana without being murdered. So it was like a total success. My dad's really a character. They have a family. Have you guys seen, there's a show called Alaska, The Last Frontier. It's about my family. It's my dad and my brother Otz, and my uncle Otto and his son Ivan. So it's really been a hoot. I would always tell these stories, since I was growing up, kind of in the public eye, since I was 18, about the way I was raised, and I don't think anybody thought I was believed. I think they thought I was exaggerating or lying, and now they're like, I'm not exaggerating. Yeah, you might be a redneck if you consider roadkill an accessory. My dad makes these really cool necklaces out of animal parts. They got bear claws and wolf teeth, and I hope on the show he'll make one you guys can see them. So anyway, 16, wrote my first song. When I was living in San Diego, I got discovered while I was homeless. I wasn't trying to get discovered, it was a complete accident. I built up kind of a local following that was very loyal to me, and a buzz spread, and a local radio station heard about me, and they came to the show. He put a bootleg of mine on the air, and it ended up in the top request countdown, which was pretty remarkable. And record labels heard about me that way, and they started driving down, and it was really like being Cinderella. They'd drive down these limousines and take me out to dinner, and then afterwards they'd be like, so where can we drop you off? And I'd be like, oh, here. I remember the first time I ever heard one of my songs on the radio, I pulled over on the side of the road and I started to cry, because it really wasn't until that moment that I realized I sang like Kermit the Frog. I was so nervous in the studio, my throat, it's funny, I sang live my whole life, but in the studio it was like I was alone, and you hear yourself really good, and there's nobody in front of you, and you just feel like you're in this fishbowl, and I got really self-conscious, and my throat really tightened up, and I was like, who will save my soul? If you haven't listened to that record in a while, you have to go back to it, because it's very embarrassing. But it ended up being embarrassing all the way to the bank, so it worked out. I really want to thank you guys for being out here, and my life shouldn't have worked out this great. I should have been somewhere in a ditch a long time ago. I didn't think that my life would I didn't think I'd be able to do something I enjoyed every day and make a living at it. It really is such a luxury, and I never thought that I'd be able to make up stories for a living. You guys have really, you know, it didn't have to work out like this. I mean, even if I got signed by some miracle, nobody had to like my music, and I could have ended up in my car again. So you guys have really changed my life and made my dreams come true. So thank you for being here.
People living their lives for you on TV. They say they're better than you, and you agree. She says, hold my clothes from behind those gold brick walls. It's coming, boy, there's nothing for free. Another burger, another hot dog, some brains. You wish you go well, hope your hills that don't go to hell. Well, another doctor's bill, a lawyer's bill, another cute, cheap thrill. You know you love them if you put them in your will, but who will save your soul when it comes to the flower? Oh yeah, hey, hey, you'll save your soul after all those lies that you told, boy. Who will save your soul if you won't save your own? We try to hustle and die to bustle and die to cause a man the cops want someone to bust down on Orleans Avenue. Oh, another day, another dollar, another war, another town where the homeless have their own soul. We pray to as many different gods as there are flowers, but we call religion our friend. We're so worried about saving our souls. We pray that God will take his toll, that we forget to begin. But who will save your soul when it comes to the babies? And voyons, veillez, will save your soul after all of those as you told. Who will save your soul if you won't save your own? Now some walk and some talk and some stalk and a kid got social security, but that won't pay your bills, cause there's addictions to feed and mouths to pay. So you bargain with the devil, say you're okay today. Say that you love him, take that money and run. Say it's this way, sweetheart, but it would do one of those things, those strings, those flings, those strings, those strings, those strings, the flings, the strings, the flings, these you cut to get up the streets, go right now, bust all your butts. Who will save your soul when it comes to the memories? And voyons, hey, hey, he will save your souls after all of those lies.